What's up everybody, it's Sean here and I am back today to give you a review of the J-Tips Saucony Grid Jazz 9 in the colorway called I Love You But I'm Busy. This marks the latest collaboration between J-Tips and Saucony. I believe this is their 5th collaboration, and for the first time they're working together on this Grid Jazz 9 silhouette. The Grid Jazz 9 was originally released as a performance shoe back in the early 2000s, but obviously it has that chunky dad shoe look, which makes sense why Saucony is bringing it back from the archives as a lifestyle model. So this pair released at boutiques along with the Saucony Canada website on April 11th, and I do want to give a huge shout out over to Saucony Canada for sending me over this pair. The nickname of the shoe is called I Love You But I'm Busy, but officially on the box, the colorway for this shoe is balloon blue. And I believe the US retail price for this shoe was 150 USD, but here in Canada they're 190 Canadian dollars. So first things first, here's a quick look at the box, and in typical J-Tips fashion, the box is just absolutely wild. So you can see we have J-Tips and Saucony co-branding, and basically every side of the box you'll see something a little bit different. So it's full of color, full of designs and patterns, which really is no surprise if you've seen the J-Tips Saucony collaborations in the past. As for the shoe itself, jumping right into the details, starting things off with the toe box, you'll see how this is covered in a bright yellow colored mesh. Right above this, towards the laces, we have the small layer of silver reflective 3M, and then overlaid on top of the yellow mesh, we have a nice and soft genuine gray colored leather. Overlaid on top of the leather, you'll see we have 3 distinct layers of blue colored suede. So there's one at the very top of the toe box, and then 2 covering the sides. And on the sides we have silver colored detailing as well, along with black colored detailing on the eyelets. Next to this we have a pink colored genuine leather, but then the top 2 eyelets, this is covered in gray leather, but it's surrounded by a black colored nubuck. Underneath this we have the Saucony stripe. This is done in a mix of black and silver, and then we have orange colored mesh beneath this. And then covering the bottom of the mid panel, we have more pink colored leather with silver colored detailing running across. Moving downwards, we have another layer of blue colored suede with silver colored detailing once again. On the bottom of the heel, we have a silver reflective layer here. Above this, we have yellow colored mesh with the words, I love you, but I'm busy, embroidered across. Above this, we have black colored nubuck with silver colored detailing. And then on the very top of the heel, we have a very light gray colored mesh. Hanging off the shoe, they also come with this floral keychain, which is basically one of J-Tips' logos. And you'll see this floral design all over the box as well as the shoes too. In terms of laces, this pair comes with 2 different lace options. The standard lace that they come with is an oval shaped black lace, but they also come with an oval shaped white lace if you want to give the shoe more pop. Underneath this, the tongue is covered in mesh, just like we saw covering the top of the heel. We do have a black nubuck layer on the top with the words Savior Sport embroidered in blue, along with this S logo. And then the back of the tongue and the interior of the shoe, this is lined in a black colored mesh. For the insoles, these come with custom branded insoles, but the insoles themselves are extremely well padded, especially underneath the heel. So the upper of the shoe sits atop this foam midsole, which is painted primarily in this bold pink colored finish. So they don't say on the website what type of foam this is. I'm assuming it's some sort of EVA, but incorporated within the shoe there is Saucony's grid technology, which stands for Ground Reaction Inertia Device. And if you imagine, it's basically like a tennis racket type technology, which will absorb the shock of your landing and returning that energy back, giving you a really responsive feel. And on the lateral side of the heel, we also have this TPU insert, which I assume is there in place to help give you a little bit more stability along the lateral side of the heel. For the bottom of the shoe, the outsole here is primarily constructed out of a black colored rubber. We have this triangular shaped traction pattern on the forefoot, along with this pink exposed foam on the heel, showing off where the grid technology would sit. And in the middle of this yellow portion, this seems to be some sort of TPU insert or plate, which I assume is there in place to help with torsional rigidity and midfoot support. So that breaks down the look and the construction of this pair. For those wondering about how these fit, so Saucony Canada sent me these in my true size, which is a size 10. Keep in mind my feet are a little bit on the wider side, and trying these on, I feel like they do run kind of true to size, but they definitely are more on the snug side. Like I mentioned earlier, the insole is extremely padded, especially underneath the heel. So because the heel sits a little bit higher, because the insole is a little bit chunkier, your feet then naturally slide forward towards the toe side of the shoe. So because of that, I feel like these feel a little bit more snug than they actually would be if the cushioning on the heel wasn't nearly as high or as stacked. So long story short, I feel like if you have a narrow or normal width foot, you can go true to size, assuming you don't mind more of a snug fitting sneaker. But if you have a wider foot and you don't like a snug fitting shoe, then I'd recommend going up half a size. So in my case, if I tighten up the shoe, which keeps my foot in place, which means I'm not going to be sliding forward, I feel like true to size is okay. But if I'm going to be wearing these loose, that means my feet are going to be sliding and jamming into the front of the shoe. In that case, going up to a 10.5 might be a little bit more comfortable. Next up, in terms of the comfort, overall I gotta say I was pretty impressed. Not only is the insole quite cushioned and stacked, especially underneath the heel, but I feel like the foam used on this shoe, it feels pretty soft, but it's not overly soft and mushy. So you're gonna feel that bounciness all throughout, and it's gonna feel extra pillowy underneath the heel. So assuming you can get the sizing of these correct, and they don't fit too snug for you, then I feel like you'll be pleasantly surprised by how comfortable this shoe is. Finally, in terms of the quality and the craftsmanship, so first off, the material quality was pretty decent. They do utilize quite a bit of genuine materials on this shoe, so genuine leathers, genuine suedes, and nubucks. That's a great thing to see. But if you're familiar with Saucony at all, especially their collaborations, it's really no surprise the quality that they deliver. The build of the shoe I thought wasn't perfect. The stitch job specifically was a little bit sloppy, and I feel like I had to trim down some of the excess threads that were all over the upper. But in the grand scheme of things, that's pretty minor. The panels were consistently placed and cut, and the shoe was free of any major glue stains, and the paint job was good as well. So yes, there were some minor blemishes, but for the most part, the shoe was very well put together, and it really feels like a special, elevated collaboration, which it is. So with all of that out of the way now, let's toss these on feet, I'll lace them up, and I'll show you guys how these look. When it comes to J-Tips and his Saucony collaborations, I'm sure you guys know by now they're going to be very loud, very eccentric, and very bold, which means it's not going to be a shoe that everyone is going to love. Even for myself, when I first saw the leaked images of this shoe, I wasn't a big fan of it, but I really think that this is one of those sneakers that you appreciate the color blocking. The more you look at it, the more you kind of take it in, and they just really grow on you. I'm not just saying this because Saucony Canada sent me this. I'll be critical if I need to be, and I'll be the first to admit that some of his past colorways were just a little bit too out there for me, but I think this one, in all its craziness, somehow it just works. Yes, it's going to be extremely bold, but I feel like if you pair this with like more of a muted, understated outfit and just let the shoe be the star of the show, I think it can work with the right outfits. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about this J-Tips and Saucony collaboration? What are your thoughts on this colorway? Is it just too loud for you? Are you feeling it? Leave your thoughts down below. And as always, you can check out my social media, which I'll link down below for you guys to check out. And I truly, truly appreciate everyone's support, every comment, every like, the subscribers. All that keeps me motivated to keep this channel going. And before I end this video, another huge thank you goes out to Saucony Canada for sending me over this pair. So thank you again for watching, and I'll catch everybody in my next review.